Hey folks, Randy here with Doing Cut and Trim. So I wanted to tell you guys a story. The story's been, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months in the making. And I didn't want to talk about it, but we're kind of towards the end of it, and so I figured I would share it now. So last year was by far the best year I've had in business. By far the best. Um, Still learning how to use this thing. And it went really, really well. And we made more money than we've ever made before. I think we were like something like 45% more in revenue this year or in 2019 than we had been in 2018. It was a really good year. And it was shaping up to go from really good to really amazing. And, but with basically 2 months left in the season, it stopped raining. And it stopped. There was no more money coming in, well, very little money coming in. Like I think September, we ended up canceling, I think, what is it? I think it was like 35% of our expected revenue. And then in October, we lost another 75% of our expected revenue. I mean, it was bad. And, we'd saved a lot for the winter. But between the unbelievable loss in revenue and then the just some things that happened that I'm not going to get into, we were going into the winter with not a lot of money. And, I wasn't nervous. I felt like, I've learned from a reasonably early, well, that's not true at all. I always did okay with tithing. And, but in the last couple of years, once I started my business, I got like amazing at it. I really began to appreciate how important tithing is. And my business was blessed as a result, I believe. And so going into it, I knew we were short on funds, but I wasn't that worried about it because I knew we've always put God first in our finances the last couple of years. I knew we'd be fine. But, I was like, we're really going to have to tighten our belts. And so I was praying about it, and I felt like God told me, like, you know what, you're going to be fine. Just be normal. That was the thing I took out of that time in prayer was just be normal. So I was like, okay, we'll just be normal. And so I did. And the first thing that happened was Bill from Billy Goat Lawn Care. He and I decided to team up on fall cleanups. And between that and a little tweak I made to the marketing that we do for those kind of jobs, that November, we made more money that November than I had made in all the previous Novembers combined, which was very unexpected. And so I was like, okay, God got us through November. Let's see how December goes. And December came around. And in December, we made more money in the month of December than we had all the previous Decembers combined. And we just wrapped up January. And in the month of January, we made more this past month in January. First off, we made more this month in January than we had all the previous Januaries combined. But not only that, this past January was the biggest, we brought more money in this month, in the month of January, than we have in it was our record month. We've never brought in more money than we did in this past month. And it was like, wow, it really just kind of went to show you that if you put God first, man, keep bumping this. I don't know if that gets picked up or not. But if you put God first in your life, man, He'll take care of you. During that time, we went to visit family in another state. We were able to stay there for a couple of weeks and have a great time with them. We were able to purchase a vehicle with cash for my wife. Here relatively soon, I'm going to be going on taking my wife on a trip for her birthday, which is something that I've pretty much never been able to do because, February is the worst month for me. I'm curious to see what happens. I think, I don't mind sharing numbers. Last February, I made a little over $400. I mean, February just nothing happens. It's the dark before the dawn for my company. It's like that every year. I mean, last year was the worst it's ever been, but it's like that every year. And I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys. That it can be really hard to put God first in your finances, but I'm telling you, man, I really, really, really believe that because I did that, He took care of us, no matter what happened. Now, I meant to say, see, I'm not a good storyteller. I really should, what's the word? Write down an outline so that I got something for you guys so I don't mess this up. The other thing was, I was nervous that we weren't going to have enough money to make it through the winter. This was back in October. So I actually took a job at a local pizza place, delivering pizzas. Because I figured, this way, at least, our bills will probably get behind, but, at least everybody eats and we'll be okay. But it turned out we never even needed that money. We never needed the money from that place so that we could survive. Because the business made enough every single month that we've been fine. I mean, that we're not just fine. We've been great. It's been, and I actually want to do a whole nother video about working at a pizza place because that was a fascinating experience in and of itself. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. That it can be hard, but if you put your trust, in your Heavenly Father, man. And just trust that he knows what's best for you, and He'll be there for you, and He'll take care of you. May not take care of you the way you want, but He'll make sure you're taken care of. Every winter, it was always kind of like a little bit of a juggling act. Like by the time the lawn season would come around, we would have bills that we would need to catch up on because it was just like you're just kind of playing that game, trying to pay this bill and then this bill and then this bill and all that kind of stuff, just trying to make everything work out. This year is the first year that we're going to go into the spring with every bill completely paid for, completely caught up. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys. That was I'm just feeling really grateful for that, and I've tried to share that with folks in my church, and honestly, it didn't come across right, and maybe this isn't coming across right either. I don't know, because if it comes across boastful, that's definitely not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to share that what God did for me, because it means a lot to me. You know what I mean? I'm the sole support for my family, and I feel like in life, a lot of ways, I feel like I'm just kind of along for the ride. I'm doing what I need to do in my business, and I'm working hard, and I'm doing what I got to do to support my family. But, when you put your faith and trust in God, it takes a lot of the worry out of it, because I know I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm showing that I'm faithful with what I'm given. And because I'm doing that, and I did that when I had nothing, He's slowly trusting me with more and more, and I'm able to be a blessing. I can be a blessing to other people, which I've been so blessed that I've been able to do that. I've been able to help a friend out when he needed it. I've been able to give when I've needed, when there's been people that have come to me that have needed it. I've been blessed, and but I really believe it's because I put God first in my life, literally first. Um, and I don't know. I still probably am not communicating it as well as I would like to, but it's the best I can do. Um, but if you're struggling, I'll tell you right now though, then this is how I've lived my life. So I mean, do what you want, but this is how I've lived my life. If you're struggling financially or whatever, easiest way to fix it, or the easiest way to get you on the road to fixing it, is to make sure you're faithful to God with your finances. So many times, tithes tends to be the thing we cut off first. Tithe and offering, like when money gets tight, we're like, you know what? We're not doing that. And I can understand the thought process, and I'm not here to say like, if you don't tithe, God does this or whatever. Like I'm not. This isn't a theological thing. I'm just telling you, from my experience, when you put God first in your finances, you're blessed as a result. So this is starting to get a little preachy, and I don't want to get too preachy. I just wanted to share with you guys my experience. Hopefully it'll benefit you. So can't wait for the lawn season to start. We're getting pretty close. It's just a little less than 2 months away before we mow lawn. So it's Randy with Dolan Cut and Trim. Have a good one.